Hi there, listeners, and welcome to the Offline Network. Today is Friday, December the 12th, and this is our 40th live stream. When you guys use ChatGPT, have you ever wondered why is it that sometimes it demonstrates razor sharp memory, other times it hallucinates, and sometimes it almost has like borderline amnesia? Well, our first guest today, whose name is Manthan Gupta, he's based in Bangalore. He's an engineer, he's an AI researcher. He's gone really deep into this. And in fact, he wrote a post about it that got a lot of attention in X. And we found that post, reached out and asked him to come chat about that. Manthan, welcome to the Offline Network.
Thank you for having me, Dhruv.
So, first things first, we'll get to the post in just a bit. Very, very excited to unpack the post, but maybe just, chat a little bit about what you do, your background.
Sure. So, in college, I did a AI ML major, but in professional life, I actually went to have a backend engineering role. But with the boom of LLMs, I actually went back, and my curiosity for LLMs actually went back up, and that is how almost 1.5 years back, I started building agents. I was part of an AI infra company where I was designing a agentic framework to build agents, RAG applications, and all these kind of agentic systems.
Right.
And in the last 6-8 months, I have moved to building vertical AI systems now.
Fantastic. And do you like writing a lot?
Yeah, I think it betters my understanding of a topic. So I've mostly been writing for myself. Uh, Even before having my website, I've been writing from my college days on Medium. Yeah, I think I started with Medium first.
Very interesting. And this piece, how long did it take to flesh it out?
It took me a couple of days because mostly the problem for me was that ChatGPT wasn't ready to comply, or let's say give a lot of information. So with all the knowledge that I have about AI agents, like building agentic systems and context management layer, so I did a 2+2 thing and
Yeah.
just added this piece.
Manthan, one of our challenges today is going to be let's assume you're speaking to either a non-technical or a semi-technical audience. And while your blog post is written in a way that it's very accessible, anyone can read it and understand exactly what you're saying. I think we're going to have to talk in that way as well. And so for our listeners, what Manthan did, which was so interesting, is he basically had a conversation with ChatGPT and got it to pretty much reveal its own memory architecture. And what was the first prompt? How did you actually probe further and further and further one?
Sure. So how it started is that there are two pieces to this puzzle. The first one is the system prompt that is given to the agent, and the second are the tools that it has access to. Uh, Usually, memory, when you kind of try to retrieve memories from somewhere, or some related information about the user, you usually inject it into a system prompt so that the agent has all the context about the user, or the necessary information about the user. So the first prompt that I put in is, what is, like, give me all the components of your system prompt, or let's say the system prompt or developer prompt. And that is how I started probing it.
Did you, in
uh,
a sense, ask ChatGPT what it knows about you?
no, actually that wasn't so. I'm a very active user of ChatGPT,
Mhm.
and I knew about the memory, like it knew about me and how things worked. Let's
So
say,
help us understand, like, what short-term memory does it have? What long-term memory does it have? And then maybe you can even pick out a few terms and just, in a very simple manner, explain them to us. So,
sure. So there are I think there are four types of sections in a system prompt that were in the system prompt of ChatGPT. The first one was about the metadata of the user, like what kind of subscription the user has, where does the user lives, and what is their usage of multiple models. Let's say if you use a more of thinking models, and or do you use a normal simple model. So Those were the things. Then after that, it had a long-term, I would not say a long-term memory, but more about facts about me
Yeah.
that it has collected over the due course of my usage of ChatGPT. So it had 33 points. That was very personal. Like, let's say that was a personal 33 points. I'm sure it must be completely different for other people. It might be 15 points or 30
I,
points for someone else.
Manthan, I tried asking it the same thing also. I didn't know 33 things about me, maybe fewer than that. But what I noticed, and tell me if this was your experience also, what I noticed was that it remembered things that were more recent in its memory, and it had forgotten a few things that had maybe had an interaction with it about like months and months ago. So recent memory was more persistent
Hmm.
in ChatGPT's mind, so to say. That's one. And the second thing is it was also able to, like it. I ask it questions about general stuff or about things that are maybe related to my work, or about specific interests. And so it had segregated those sections also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. For the first part, I also think uh, recency is something that is favored in creating facts about you, and it does make sense. Even in even in humans, the brain actually favors recency more than uh, like old memories. So I do have another blog that I wrote about uh, like agentic memory evolving it towards human brain, and I also feel that the like recency is much more important in these cases.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And you also, I believe, you also learned, and this is important, that ChatGPT doesn't necessarily save everything that you've told it word by word, but it instead saves summaries of the interactions that you've had. Can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit about that too?
Yes. So the third section that the system prompt had was about all the interactions that I had in recent times. I'm not sure like about what the time frame is for those, but whatever the format was, the title of the chat and 3 or 4 pointers of the questions that were asked by me, or let's say a summary of the interaction that I was having with it. And there were about 15 of these recent chats that were injected into the system prompt.
You use the word injected. Can you explain to us in very simple terms what is injection into say a context window? What does that mean really?
Sure. So there are two types of context here. One is static context, which does not change in every query. That is going to be a static defined by the developer. Now then there is a dynamic context, which is like retrieving different kinds of information about you, or let's say anything else. So there's system prompt, and then you inject as in appending the dynamic context to the static context, and then it creates a final system prompt that you give it to the agent.
And then also, I mean, when you're prompting GPT, you can actually say things like, "Remember this about me," or "Forget this about me," and it does as you say.
Yeah, so it does have a tool named as Bio. ChatGPT has it.
Yeah,
ChatGPT has been given some rules for using it, and based on that, it's called. So you're like enforcing it to remember this about you.
yeah,
So let's say you say I love biscuits, and say remember this about me. So you will see that when you tell ChatGPT to list all the facts about you, it will actually have that.
yeah. And sometimes when you open a new window, which is the temporary chat window, that's when it's not even storing anything.
Uh, yeah, it's not storing as in, let's say there are, of course, all the three aspects will be there.
Yeah,
The first one being the metadata,
yeah,
second being your facts, and the third being all the summaries of the interactions till now. But the fourth section won't be there because that is like the rolling window of recent chats in that session.
But the big conclusion I saw of your post was that ChatGPT may not be using RAG every single time, or maybe at all. And so, so talk a little bit about that too. Firstly, what is RAG,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how did you come to that conclusion?
Uh, so people have like what I've usually seen is that people have synonymously use RAG for vector databases.
Hmm.
But I mean, so that was for more general pure public. In general, RAG is a has an architecture of, let's say, a retrieval plus generator.
Mhm.
When a retriever can retrieve any kind of information from any kind of database or anywhere. It could be a file, it could be a database, or it could be a storage from the browser.
Mhm.
So I feel there is RAG somewhere, but
Mhm.
it's not the vector database kind of a thing that exists at this point of time.
Right. And again, for everyone's benefit, what's a vector database? How is it different from a CRUD database?
So a vector database saves vector embeddings for each kind of text. So that's more on a mathematical side, that it creates a vector database. But when you query it, you are actually looking for semantically similar queries to your query. So that is how, that is something very unique to vector databases rather than your normal databases, which is more like, let's say, you insert something and you get something.
Yeah.
Those are pinpoint exact matching, or let's say regex matching.
And have you done this reverse engineering only with ChatGPT or with other models as well?
I was going to do it for Claude,
Okay.
but they don't have memory in their free plan. So definitely planning for Gemini, Grok, and Claude as well.
Did your conclusion spark like a debate in the between your friends or in the technical community? Did some people say, "Hey, no, Manthan, you're wrong"?
Yeah. So a lot of people had this complaint that I did not put in the methodology.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, I do agree with them that it's not fair, let's say, um, to claim something and not put in the methodology that actually helps them to replicate it. But considering the, let's say, non-predictability of ChatGPT, or
Mhm.
let's say LLMs in general, it's very
Mhm.
hard to, let's also put the methodology, and then also I might be wrong because it might not be getting replicated for someone else.
Mhm.
So it's a like a yeah. I mean,
Have
it's
you?
like
Yes. Have you? Do you know about super memory or Mem0 AI or Memo AI? I don't know how they what they call themselves. Are you tracking
yeah,
these
yeah,
companies?
yeah.
Are they? I mean, do you have a view on how they will be helpful to developers who are building agents and who don't want to deal with stateless agents?
Sure. So what ChatGPT has actually went on to is to do a trade-off between cost latency,
Yeah.
and uh, the granularity of the in your interactions that the ChatGPT knows. So it knows something, but it does not know a lot of granular details about you. And tools like Mem0, Super Memory, what they do is they will give you a much more, let's say, with RAG,
Yeah.
it will increase your latency, it will increase your cost, but what it will give you is more granular details, or let's say the power to query more granular details about a user.
Even some of these open source models like DeepSeek had done like some very aggressive optimization on memory, right, in order to be able to achieve what they did.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right, Manthan, maybe last question for you, like away from all of the technical details, for the everyday user, what should they know about memory? And I'm asking this question also from a privacy standpoint, right? How much is too much? How can you just be, an engaged but a safe user of ChatGPT? How can you take safety and privacy into your own hands?
sure. So at the end, we don't know how the data is getting used. Even though there are ways to turn off your memory and ChatGPT, you don't know what's getting saved, or let's say how the data is getting used, if it's getting used to train their own models.
Mm.
So I mean, using ChatGPT is, I think, nice, but and also essential at this point of time. But I think care needs to be taken that you don't share a lot of personal details to ChatGPT.
Yeah. Yes. And on that note, thank you so much for coming and sharing more about your blog post. We'll ensure that more people are reading it and learning from it. And yeah, till next time. Thank you, Manthan.
Okay.
All right, listeners, that was Manthan who's talking to us about the very interesting blog post that he'd authored and that, like I said, got a lot of attention on X. Our next guest is Himanshu, who is based right now at Network School. Is that right, Himanshu?
Hey, hi, nice to meet you. We are
Okay,
live?
we're live.
Okay.
Whereas live as we
So,
can be.
no, currently I'm based out of Bangalore, but yeah, we recently
Okay.
have expanded Upsurge Lab at Network School.
Yes. And so you're with Upsurge Labs, and
Yeah.
introduce Upsurge Labs to us.
Yeah, so Upsys Lab, I guess it's pretty much non-conventional, one of the offices in Bangalore. So we are basically a studio, like we incubate projects which are mainly focused towards AI and building one of the foundational stuff out there. So we are pretty much looking forward to how can we shape the future, like the stack of products we are working on. So we started Upsys Labs, like we incubate, as I said, several projects. So one of the projects called Bhindi AI. So I can name
Let's
them all.
let's let's list
Yeah,
down all the projects, and they have very
yeah,
interesting names, by the
yeah,
way. Let's
yeah,
list
yeah.
them down, and then we can go at them one at a time.
So one of them is called Bhindi AI. Then we have Helium Robotics, Open Bio, Blue
Hmm.
Brain, Ananas, Banana Productions. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean you can say
A lot of fruit and
we love a
vegetable
lot.
names.
Yeah, fruit names, vegetables name. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I just about the name.
yeah.
But we do incredible things. We are doing incredible things here. Yeah.
I'm sure you are. And which order should we go in? Is Do you
Mhm.
want to go in order of, chronology wise, or do you
Yeah,
want
let's.
to go? Mhm.
Actually, every project is interesting, so we can go anywhere. Yeah.
All right. So, why don't you set the pace and the and the tone for that?
Mhm.
Do you want to talk about Bindi AI first?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Bindi is
Right.
one of the potential projects we have started working on. I mean, the first version was called Miniature Bindi.
Hmm.
So that was used within the team internally, like for whatever task we are doing with Gmail, with Slack, with GitHub. So we thought to why not to build a frontier project out of it. So we started building out, and it was basically, you can say, cursor for apps. So we have got more than 300 plus apps, basically it's a cluster of apps which you can chain together to get your things done. So if I have to give an example, so if you go to Amazon, you search for Ikigai book, you get tens of recommendations of books, then want to store that recommendation of book into a Google Sheet,
Hmm.
and then want to send that Google Sheet to someone on Slack. So basically you're opening three tabs out here.
Hmm.
So but with Bhinti you can just prompt stuff.
Hmm.
So internally, there are MCP tools, APIs being called for those several apps,
Hmm.
and it will chain it together. And yeah, like it can be done with just prompting, like
Hmm.
those apps will be called and get things done for you. So
Hmm.
this is the one of the idea we have started with, and actually we are keeping iterating more and more on this. So people are actually using it for several use cases, made productivity, creativity, lots of stuff. So for me, what I actually use for is like I don't open GitHub. I don't open even my ID most of the time. I just
Yeah.
ask Hindi to create PR, merge PR, do this
Hmm.
code changes, whatever. I mean, it. So I mean, the problem statement are huge. So and for our users, I would like to say, if someone actually want to use it can be in a way like, so whatever third party apps we use,
Yeah.
it can be anything. It can be for, if I'm coding, it could be database, let's say MongoDB, Supabase, whatever.
Yeah.
It is productivity, anything on those lines. So I can actually use those app on Bindi itself, so that I have not to open any third party app again. I can
Hmm.
just ask Bindi to, hey, get things done from this app with
Hmm.
just with just writing. When I'm not even writing typing these days. It's just about speaking with the voice and get things done, kind of like that. So I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, this is the general notion of building Bindi. And yeah, we have scaled so far. I mean, we have more than 40,000 users plus now. We have started in April, and yeah, it's been a good journey so far for Bindi.
Very, very interesting. And so before we jump onto the next
Mhm.
app or the next project, Himanshu, how do you guys, you call yourself Upsurge Labs.
Yeah.
So at the heart of it, you guys are, your builders, tinkerers, innovators. How do you pick the next project to work
Mhm.
on?
So it's very interesting. So we really
So
look up to the
talk
frontier.
to, if I
Mhm.
may,
Mhm.
so for anyone who's listening and who thinks often about problem selection, talk
Yeah.
about it from that lens.
Of course. So it could start like the pivoting is very important because you really need to see what is being solved and what the future looks like. So suppose if I say software is being solved now. If it is not, then it will be solved, let's say in 6 months down the line or a year down the line. So if software is being solved, so how can we contribute on that front? Let's say if I have to automate my stuff, so how can I actually use agent? How can I actually use tools to contribute on the frontier? So it starts with that, and then we have a lineup of projects, like what actually to build, what is not coming out of, no, there is no rule book, no such rule book here. I mean,
Yeah.
you just dive deep in something that
Yeah.
is interesting, that is that sounds curious to you.
Yeah.
So we started, I mean, Banana Productions. So people, so Banana Production is basically AI native creator studio. So these models were coming up from the likes of OpenAI, from the likes of Chinese models, basically. So video gen has getting a lot of following. So I mean, people were using AI for a lot of video generation. So we started to think like, let's make a pipeline for that. Why not to use AI models, these video gen models, to actually build movies, actually build AI generated movies, and those are so awesome. Like if you go to the Banana Productions page, and the team is really working hard on that front.
Yeah.
So so the visuals, the script, the voice, the everything is AI generated, and it's so real that it doesn't feel like someone is acting for you. So we have got characters for that. We have got 4 or 5 characters who are actually playing roles in those movies, and everything is AI generated.
Mhm.
So we have recently showed that movie at in LA, and it has got a lot of following for that. So this is one of the thing.
I
Invest in
believe
something
one
that
thing
is
that's
not.
become, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I believe one thing that's gotten very popular in China is, these micro movies or micro dramas, as we're
Yeah,
calling them. You can just, you can on the go turn the character into someone else,
yeah,
and you can turn, the script from one language to another. And
yeah,
so, like it's kind of like write once and use everywhere kind of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, kind of content.
So
So yeah,
the workflow is getting so easy for everyone. I mean, anyone can build that pipeline. So
yeah,
you have to be on the top of the tech, and
yeah,
I'll always be tinkering about what could be the next thing I could build from that. So if I'm able to generate a movie, if I'm
yeah.
able to generate a movie, so how can I make to the next frontier? Where can I show that movie? So always, I mean, the building is easy part now. Distribution
And
is
which are
something.
the top
Yeah.
5 video generation models you would say right now?
I mean, we have got Flow, we have got, so there is a pipeline for that models. We have Van from Quan. So recently, like people are actually using Sora.
Mm.
And I mean, we are also focusing on a lot of Chinese based models. So they are pretty good, and like from the likes of ByteDance and all. So it's a pipeline of scripts. So we actually use Flow a lot. That model is really good at, generating videos. And there goes a pipeline we use mid journey for images, and then converting it to the script, and then voice model. So with that pipeline,
Do you have a
anyone
perspective
can
on
use
how
this.
the US frontier models and the Chinese
Mhm.
frontier models, you
Yeah,
said, ByteDance, Tencent, they
yeah,
have,
yeah,
they're,
yeah, yeah.
running great models of their own, how they're different at this time?
So there is a difference. I mean, recently open source US models have gotten a good spike from the likes of Prime Intellect, Datalogy AI, Archie AI. So they have recently started, like, from the Olmo, the recent Olmo model was also good. But when you compare with the Chinese open source, I mean, Chinese ones are really crazy when it
And they're
comes to.
mostly open source, aren't they?
Yeah, Chinese, I mean, they're really cheap, and they're really good at it what they do from on the benchmark side, and they keep pushing the frontier. I mean, Quinn has been really great so far. But for the closed source ones, people prefer to use American models, let's say Claude, OpenAI, and people are actually using Claude a lot for coding. I mean, the recent one, Claude Opus 4.5. It's
Mm.
really, I mean, really good model. Like it really gets you what you want to say
Yeah.
and how and what you want to achieve from that model. So it's been really awesome so far. So I mean, there's a thin line of difference, like when you are using what actually to pick for your particular use case. But for open source one, people prefer to use uh, are using Chinese ones all these days. Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yes.
Mhm.
So, all right, we've covered Bindi, we've covered banana, is it?
Yeah.
What's the next project and
I
or
would like to
product out
talk
of this?
about
Yeah.
helium robotics. I mean, this is one of the projects we have been really invested in. It's so helium robotics is like we are building hardwares with AI. So one of the things called Lampy. So Lampy is basically it's a lamp, and it is connected with Bhindi internally. So imagine there is a hardware which is actually observing you what you are doing. Let's say on a table, you are writing something, you are doing something. It gets you what you're doing, and you can ask it to, let's say, to do something on your behalf. And Bhindi is working as an orchestration here. So this is something we are working around. We have recently also been building a device called Santra. Santa is a device. It's like a locket, and
I think you lost me a little bit on the name. The names are a lot to keep up. But it's
so Helium
Himanshu.
Robotics has, yeah,
So yes, the helium. The lamp is, what do you call the lamp again?
Lamp E.
Lamp E. Great.
Yeah.
Do you have one on your desk right now?
I have, but in the
I
third
mean,
level.
if you want to, feel free to ask one of your
Uh,
colleagues to just bring it out. I mean, if you want to just show it on the screen. But
Actually, the robotics team right now is in Singapore. So sorry
okay,
if we
okay.
can
Oh, no.
show it out.
But what's inside the device?
Yeah.
So deconstruct the
So
device for us.
Yeah. So if I talk about Santra, so it's a device. It's like a locket, and it is connected to Bhindi. So I have not even to open the app now. I'm not opening app. I'm not on website. We are just talking with each other, and I'm asking you. Let's merge that PR. Let's create that PR. And Santra, the device is hearing you, and it's getting the task done for you.
Mhm.
So what is internally, so there's a hardware which is sensing what you're trying to say, and we have various models running up. So here it is like speech to text. So what speech I'm using, it's get converted to text, and then it get passed to Bhindi, and then Bhindi operates on that on your behalf and get the things done for you. So the blocker is getting removed. Like I'm not supposed to open a UI for that. So
Mm.
it's just about how the best human can operate in the best way, like that.
Yeah. How far does all of this go, Himanshu? I mean, does it get to
Mhm.
the point where you can right now you can speak code into existence?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be able to just think it into existence as well?
Intent to action is one of the thing. I mean, we are actually working around. Like
Okay.
we are just thinking, and that's come the next project, which is called Blue Brain.
Yeah.
It's the next. So we've started Blue Brain. The team is based out of Hong Kong. We are really working on the frontier AI research. So the future is something. Uh, it's if you have heard out about world models, so we are working around those lines. So let's say you have got a robot, a small robot, something which can do things for you on edge device. So
Hmm.
let's say I'm not supposed to connect it with Wi-Fi or something, but
Hmm.
it's really a small model which is doing thing for you. So we have the vision is like that to have incredible small language models which are really good at the thing they do. So it can be real time UI generation, whatever. So the core research part is that how foundational could it be, how frontier it could be to get the things done for you with minimal cost and super efficiency. So so this one the project, yeah, we're working around at Blueprint. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Do you think you could maybe make it really simple to understand, very vivid for our listeners,
Mhm.
when you have a piece of hardware that is, of course, supported by software in the
Yeah,
background,
yeah.
and you speak to it, give it instructions? How does it take that, on board as input? What sort of, what sort of what chips do you have in that particular device? How does that communicate with the models that run in the background? Where does inference take place? Can you describe the whole chain?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So of course, it requires compute, or it requires an inference service. So it could be any inference provider. It could be on cloud. It could be you're using with API for what particular model you're using. So suppose if there's a device I'm speaking to it, so it appears to be like, so there's a sensor which sense what you're speaking. So this is my speech to that sensor. Internally, I mean, I'm connected model with that. So basically, it converts to my speech to a text. So that text is something which is very important for whatever model I'm using. So I have connected my orchestration layer with that. So that orchestration layer take that text and work around what the workflow has been around. Like if I'm using Bhindi, so Bhindi is the orchestration layer for that. So Bhindi, if Bhindi got the text, so almost 80% of the thing has been done already. So if you had got the text, it will call the apps, it will call the tools, it will use the MCP servers and get everything connected and will get the things done for you, which is apparently a software. So hardware here is just like an a layer which perceive your interest, which perceive your information, which perceive you what you're talking about, and then everything comes down to orchestration layer and it will work around. So right now so hardware has many such scope. So it could work around your application layer as well, it can work around your perception layer as well, it can bridge between those two as well. So it depends a lot how are you using that particular hardware, and what's your scope after that. Yeah.
Fantastic. What other projects do you have going on at Upsurge
Yeah,
Labs?
so I want to talk about we are working around open bio. So Ravi is working on that. So it's basically cursor for biology. You might have heard the term cursor for X. So cursor for biology here fits in. So biology is broken, I mean, many of these tools require command line expertise, your GPU cluster. So the agenda here is to how better you can provide biology tools to researchers, to the people in academia and everyone. So it's basically a clean and focused UI to every biologist to achieve their computational tasks. So it's AI native platform. You can model your proteins, you can work around it, you can create your taskbar as well, you can yeah, everything when it comes to biology. OpenBio is solving that. So this is something we are working around biotech side of the things, and Ravi has an incredible work on that. He is based out of NS right now and building over there. Yeah.
Some of those biosciences labs, they create just so much data. They have data centers of their own, don't they?
Mhm.
And they need models to also be deployed on-prem. They can't
Yeah,
use
yeah,
them in the
yeah,
cloud.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And yeah, interesting.
So
And so,
yeah, with the goal with OpenBio is like you can query your data set, you can run a prediction, because
yeah,
biology is very scattered. I mean, tools are. I mean, the traditional biology has been like everything is very traditional software. I mean, there's a lot to do when it comes to AI and automate everything. Those tools, because not much people are working on these lines, especially in biology, because it's broken. It's scared. So you can query a database, you can run a prediction, you can set to dos, you can track your progress, you can take notes, you can share them across chats, you can keep a research notebook, basically an all environment for everything your biology needs. So yeah, that's the problem we are solving on that front.
very interesting. All right. Himanshu, it's been great having you join us and talk about the many, many different products and projects you guys are working on. All the best. And yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Have a nice day. See ya.
Our pleasure.
Bye bye.
All right, listeners, that was Himanshu of Upsurge Labs, and boy, I mean, they're working on so many different things. We're going to cover, just like the last episode, we're going to cover news towards the end. There's not much to be honest, but there still is. There's a few things that we'll go over very, very quickly. Juneja of SoftBank did an interview with Money Control and said that they're basically going to be back in action in 2026. He also said that in a very good way that SoftBank's real competition in India have actually been the IPO markets, with a surge in companies listing. The appetite and the demand for, demand's the wrong word, but the appetite for large late stage rounds had pretty much gone for some period of time, and so. But he says that we want to continue investing in India. We don't want to be out of the game for sure. And so we can expect SoftBank to be back in action in 2026. Sam Altman had put out a post observing OpenAI's 10th anniversary. Everyone paid attention to ChatGPT's 3rd anniversary, but OpenAI, the research lab, has also turned 10 years old. And I'm actually going to very quickly read just one excerpt from that post of his where he says, so this is about the next 10 years. And he says, and I quote, "In 10 more years, I believe we are almost certain to build super intelligence. I expect the future to feel weird." In characteristic Sam Altman fashion, he says, "In some sense, daily life and the things we care most about will change very little. And I'm sure we will continue to be much more focused on what other people do than we will be on what machines do. In some other sense, the people of 2035 will be capable of doing things that I just don't think we can easily imagine right now." Uh, Hopefully we're all going to be around 10 years from now to really understand what he means when he says this, but just interesting stuff. And then in our last episode, we shared with you that Satya Nadella was in India and that Microsoft had made a huge $17 billion commitment to invest in India over the next 4 years. Amazon just around the same time announced, Amit Agarwal of Amazon announced that they're in fact getting up to invest $35 billion in India by 2030 to advance AI innovation to create jobs. And this, by the way, is on the back of the 40 odd billion dollars that Amazon has already invested in the India story. And so that's from Amazon. That's all from us today. I hope you had a great time tuning in. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you on Monday next.